Hello and good morning. I am Cecelia González, representing District 16 here in the Las Vegas Valley. And while I'm unable to be there physically, it is an honor to be here with all of you this morning through this video. Asian Americans are currently the fastest growing demographic group in the United States with a population of over 22 million. And as such, it is imperative that Asian American and Pacific Islanders be involved in the legislative process at both the state and federal levels. I want to briefly discuss the Nevada legislature and the impacts of having the first female majority have done for our state and why it is important for women to run for office. This past legislative session, the Nevada legislature passed Senate Joint Resolution 11, which urges Congress to ratify the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women to address the wage gaps, not only between men and women, but also the difference in wages disproportionately affecting women of color. Additionally, Senate Concurrent Resolution 5 was passed to not only acknowledge the public health crisis in our state, but to request that changes be made to address the racial and ethnic disparities in our healthcare system that was exacerbated by the coronavirus 2019 pandemic and led to disproportionate and detrimental impacts on minority communities. We considered and passed measures like Senate Bill 341 that calls for racial equity by establishing an advisory committee to address race-based disparities in kidney disease through education and awareness, as well as to ensure that healthcare services are provided in a culturally competent manner by requiring employees to complete diversity and racial equity training. Finally, our legislature also passed Assembly Bill 327, which requires mental health professional license holders to complete courses relating to cultural competency, diversity, equity, and inclusion every 2 years as part of their continuing education requirements. It is through measures such as these that we will be able to build a community that works for all Nevadans with better opportunities for people of all backgrounds, genders, and races. While we continue working towards a better future, it is worth recognizing the positive contributions that the Asian American and Pacific Islander community have enriched and shaped Nevada. We see these contributions of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community in our everyday lives as they play vital roles in our society by owning small businesses, teaching our students, holding elected positions in each branch of government, and contributing to the culturally rich and diverse nature of our state. Asian American and Pacific Islanders have played a critical role in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, representing nearly 1/5 of all healthcare workers in Nevada. You know, one of the reasons why I decided to run for office comes full circle to this very organization. I was at an APAICS training in February of 2020, and we were being trained on how to run for office. And it was at this very training that I learned that there were less than 50 Asian American women in state legislatures throughout the entire country. I've also learned that it takes a woman 7 times to being asked to run for office before she actually considers it. I'm here to encourage you all to run. We know representation matters. We know that our rights to privacy, healthcare, and overall livelihoods are on the line as people, as women, and especially as women of color and women of the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. Thank you so much for your time this morning. If there's anything that I can do or help as an Assemblywoman of District 16 here in Clark County, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or contact me. You may find my contact information at www.ceciliagonzalesnv.com. Thank you again so much for your time, and I hope you've been encouraged to run for office.